location at 5573 Arlington Avenue in Riverside. Just look them up on the internet. That's Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue. Happy eating!
And perfect for the holidays, Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue is also available for catering. That's Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue in Fontana and now in Riverside on Arlington.
This segment is sponsored by PressPrint, Southern California's best full-service union printer and mail house. They offer the lowest prices around with unmatched service and reliability and free delivery throughout SoCal. PressPrint can print anything from letterhead, business cards, and campaign literature to mailers of any size. Lawn signs, banners, door hangers, or just about anything you might want. PressPrint promises to save money for you, your business, or your campaign. If you'd like to learn more, contact Mike Krumbrand at PressPrint 714-399-8708. Get the union bug.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932. Protecting the future of working families, Teamsters1932.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Severe weather continues to travel across the country as it threatens the East Coast today. NOAA's Storm Prediction Center says a stretch from southern New Jersey to northern North Carolina and another from southern South Carolina to central Florida have the greatest risk of severe storms. The fate of a controversial Texas immigration law is now in the hands of a federal appeals court in New Orleans. The three-judge panel for the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals offered the federal government and the legal team representing Texas the chance Wednesday to oppose or defend Texas SB 4. Lawyers for the government and interested parties opposing the law say Texas does not have the authority to craft or enforce immigration law. The Biden administration has no plans to change its policy toward Israel after 7 humanitarian aid workers were killed in an Israeli airstrike. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters, however, the president expects a swift and thorough investigation into the incident.
You heard from the president last night in his statement. He's outraged and he's heartbroken. We are all heartbroken here.
Biden, in a statement Tuesday, addressed the deaths of the 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian workers, delivering some of the strongest criticism of Israel since the start of its war against Hamas. He added that he'll continue to push Israel to do more to protect civilians. Biden's facing pressure to stop providing Israel weapons in the war. Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend is sharing new footage of the raid on his home in L.A. and accuses agents of using militarized force against her son. Sean Combs' son, 26-year-old Christian Combs, is seen surrounded by officers with their rifles raised in surveillance footage. Federal agents raided Combs' L.A. and Miami homes on March 25th, reportedly part of an ongoing sex trafficking and racketeering investigation. Attorneys for Bryan Kohberger want his murder trial moved out of the county where he's accused of killing 4 college students. His lawyers had an outside business conduct a survey last month to judge community attitudes about Kohberger. They say it shows jurors would be biased against their client. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Spear, a licensed agent with Litchfield Insurance Associates here in Beaumont. A large portion of Americans don't have life insurance or don't have enough. Whether you need a temporary policy, something to help with income during retirement, or making sure your final expenses are taken care of, having life insurance is an act of love and security for your whole family. Having a local trusted agent makes navigating through the sometimes complex world of life insurance so much easier. And I would love to be the one to help you. I'm Kaylee Spear. For your free consultation, people are calling 951-769-0005. 951-769-0005.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Dell Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Dell's team live in Anaheim 2 days only at the Sheraton Park Hotel at Anaheim Resort. Saturday and Sunday, May 4th and 5th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it.
KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown.
Nestled in the heart of downtown San Bernardino is Living History and the place you want to be. On the internet, it's 320downtown.com. That's 320downtown.com. The Enterprise Building, with its rich interiors, it's a place so special you just have to see it. It's at 320 Northeast Street in downtown San Bernardino. The Enterprise Building is the heartbeat and entertainment life of downtown San Bernardino, as well as a distinguished space for your new office or building. You can grow with its newly renovated banquet area, meeting rooms, 320 bar, top deck terrace, and plenty of parking space with over 8,900 square feet of reasonable and available opportunity. Today, it's family owned and operated by Alicia, Alan, and their son Ryan. They've rolled out the red carpet and crafted a gracious space, keeping the historical feel of the building while providing the opportunity to create the future memories of your upcoming wedding or celebration. It's 320downtown.com. That's 320downtown.com. The Enterprise Building. It's downtown, waiting for you.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-518-2281. 800-518-2281. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-518-2281. 800-518-2281. 800-518-2281.
Welcome to the Worker Power Hour with Randy Corrigan, a brand new show about labor and worker issues. The host of the show is Randy Corrigan, Secretary, Treasurer, and Principal Office and leader of Teamsters 1932, one of the largest public sector labor unions on the West Coast, representing workers in government and non-sworn law enforcement personnel. Randy Corrigan is a 30-year Teamster who first became involved in the labor movement by volunteering his time as an organizer with the Teamsters Union at the age of 21. Since then, he's helped thousands organize, mobilize, and achieve bargaining rights. He accomplished this by spending countless hours with brave men and women all over Southern California, in their living rooms, on the picket line, to bring workers towards victory. This is the Worker Power Hour. And now here's the host of the show, Randy Corrigan.
Good afternoon, everybody. Randy Corrigan here, longtime organizer, first-time radio host. I get to claim my rookie status for quite some time, right, Rick? I'm going to call on you a little bit here and there. So I know you host some shows yourself. You actually
25 years, so you know that's I'll be able to help you and nursemaid you through it, so to speak.
Yeah, you did our car show a few years ago.
Yes, I did. It was absolutely. I love doing the car shows and everything. And fortunately, I've been here at KCA like 8 years now. With Mark, working on KQLH, KCAA, and then my own station now, which is just amazing.
Yeah, the hopefully you make it to the car show this year. It's
absolutely.
Last year we had almost 3,000 people.
I remember.
It was
that was
enormous.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that was amazing, and it was absolutely fabulous. You can count on that.
And you know what? We figured out what makes it so successful is everything's free. We don't charge people to participate as far as the cars, and we don't charge people to come in.
Exactly.
Not all the food's not all free, but
no, the food you got to get some revenue in somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's just free is a wonderful thing, but it's costing somebody something, and I assume a lot of the cost is with the unions and everything with the unions.
Correct. Yeah, we footed the bill for quite some time until we got it established, and now what we've been able to do is we make it actually a charity event, and
Well, yeah, of course,
we
yeah.
fundraise off of it, and we get donations. Organizations will donate
that's
to
fantastic.
us to be part of our primary charity event. So with that, good having you, Rick.
My
you're gonna
pleasure.
be controlling our sound.
Absolutely, and you're going to sound fantastic. So
I hope so, because we were having last couple of weeks. I had a couple challenges with my mic. So.
Yeah, nope. You're right now. You're at 100% modulation, as we say in the business. So you're good to go.
I learned a new word today: modulation.
Modulation is, if you look at it, it's if you remember Ernie Kovacs from the 50s when he did the Mac the Knife in Polish. It was actually a thing that was on the bottom of the screen that showed the sine wave of the modulation.
Okay.
So right now you're a sine wave over the air.
Got it.
So there you go.
See, learned something new. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Rick.
Oh, my pleasure, Randy.
So just first part of the show, we do a recap. This is the Worker Power Hour with Randy Corgan, KCAA 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Last week, great show. We had a couple great guests on. First of all, we had from Junk Dogs. Mark, what was the name of the guy from Junk Dogs? No, this is Justin here. I'll pull his name up here in a minute. And then we had Kathleen, the president of Teamsters Local 1932. And boy, did she do an amazing job. I got a lot of great feedback from members that listened in on her telling her story. It was amazing to actually hear her be very upfront about some things that some may see as kind of like a vulnerable conversation. And she did this excellent job of kind of framing how becoming part of the union allowed her to fit in and kind of be herself. And she really did this. She was really descriptive in how in the beginning, it's like, unions this, unions that, a lot of negative. I'm actually going to talk on the back side of the hour about some of those negativities that I got from her at the last show. But then she talked about the transition and how she transitioned from being in a space of hearing her typical negative narrative to then shifting into understanding how much unions do for the community. And then she experienced herself individually, personally and professionally, and how she's just become a more well-rounded individual. And she just feels like she can fit in. And she recognizes that. It's kind of what I fell in love with within this union. She recognized that she could just be herself, and that no matter whom you are, there's something for you to connect to within the organization. The different caucuses that we have, LGBT, the Hispanic Caucus, the TNBC, Teamsters National Black Caucus, Women's Caucus, Women's Committee, all the different pieces of the organization, our Teamster Advantage program, the training center that we do with schools and education in the schools themselves. All of those areas within the community that are built out, no matter who you are, no matter what you enjoy doing, there's typically something that you can connect to. And she just did a really good job of connecting the dots and how being part of a union does a really good job of helping you fit in. And then also educating yourself and understanding that the history that's been told has not quite necessarily been the truth over a long period of time. I'm going to get into a little bit of that on the backside of the hour, too, when I talk about it. But Kathleen, she did a great job. Yeah, Mark? Drew, that's right, Drew, my bad. I was going to flip through my notes right now. Hey, Drew, if you're listening, our apologies for not remembering your name. I am getting old, and I am starting to forget who people are now. I don't forget their face, but I'm starting to forget who they are. I hear that's the onset of 50. Right, Ralph? I got Ralph sitting in here. And then the other thing I had last week is I had my son sitting in for the first time. I can't tell you how excited Brando was, my son, about, he immediately got on and shared it with his friends, shared the show, and started talking about how, my dad was talking about me on the air. And it's been funny because he's been on these text strings where he's been hearing the other kids talk about the show. And for him to actually physically be here, because he's the only one of my children, one of my 50,000 kids that's been here and actually got to enjoy it. But then he was like, look, Dad, I get out early on Wednesdays. You could drive over and pick me up, and you can actually bring me over to the show every day. The timing's not quite there. He doesn't get out quite early enough, but I loved the enthusiasm that he had in it. So last week was a great show. And Kathleen I asked Kathleen, I said, hey, Kathleen, is there anything else you wanted to share that you missed last week that you missed in the show, and you wanted me to share on your behalf. And she just wanted me to share, first of all, her appreciation for everybody, and most importantly, the journey. She just wanted me to reiterate the journey that she was on from 2015 until 2024, and that journey being in a space of not knowing much about how unions operated, and then learning as much as she did. It's kind of like trying to drink through a fire hose. She learned at this incredibly fast pace, and believe it or not, she drank very, very good, and she learned extremely fast. And she's now the president of what is considered one of the most respected local unions in the entire country. Very progressive, very active, very engaged organization with our membership. And she wanted to appreciate the journey. In other words, how much has changed in the last 9 years, and how things that she thought was impossible became possible by people working together, by people coming together, by people putting down their differences and finding some common ground, and saying, what, we can do that. Let's put a plan to do it, and let's be reasonable in our approach. And with that, she's really blown away on that journey. I know not everybody has witnessed that journey themselves, but that's what she wanted me to share. So again, Kathleen, you're the greatest. We really appreciate you coming on. You're such a dedicated individual, and such a great, she got a great work ethic. She's very compassionate, just one of my favorite people in the world, and I couldn't be prouder to have a partner like her running the organization, her as the president and me as the secretary-treasurer. And with that, I also want to give a shout out to James Estrada in the city of Redlands, out of our membership. He posted this really cool, I'm going to pull it up right now. He promoted today. I don't know if he's actually listening live or not. He may be working, but he posted this really cool Worker Power Hour with Randy Corgan stuff on his Facebook page, which for those of you that don't know, he has got an extremely active social media. They do a great job of promoting all the small businesses within Redlands and in the area, a little bit of Loma Linda and a little bit of Yucaipa too. He does a phenomenal job. Matter of fact, every Thursday, what they do is they pick a Teamster Advantage partner, and they actually, all the members go in there and participate with that Teamster Advantage partner. If it's a place to go eat, they'll go in and grab a coffee or grab lunch or get something to eat. If it's a different type of business, they'll go in and just thank them for being part of the network, being part of the Teamster Advantage program. And James, you guys do a phenomenal job out there. We really appreciate the work that you're doing in that space. It's amazing. Keep up the great work. You're a great reflection on a public employee, regardless of what anybody says about public employees, because it's mostly not true. These public employees are saving lives every single day. They're making sure you get clean water. They're making sure someone answers the phone, 911, when 911's dialed. They're making sure that the potholes are full. And I know you only complain about the ones you hit. There are thousands of them that get filled on a regular basis that you never even know about because they got taken care of. All the services that the community needs on a given day are provided by these very great people. And James, you're one of them. You're a great reflection of that. We really appreciate the work, and our members there in the city of Redlands do. Keep promoting just like you do. It's phenomenal. So I'll transition to the next part of our next part of the show, which is 3 Teamster jobs. This is the Think a Teamster part of the segment. And for those of you that haven't seen our Teamster billboards that say Think a Teamster, this is how we're connecting all this in the network. When you go to Disneyland, the food at Disneyland is provided by Teamsters. U.S. Foods provides all the food exclusively to Disneyland as a whole, and it provides it to not just the various restaurants in there, but the famous churros that come into Disneyland, that everybody loves the churros at Disneyland. They are from the Teamsters. Make sure that those churros happen, make sure that they're delivered there at Disneyland. And so next time you're at Disneyland and you're eating, thank a Teamster, because the Teamster made sure that you got your food there that day. We don't control the price, by the way, so don't complain to us about the price of food at Disneyland. That's Disney itself. The next Teamster job is Sam Adams Beer. Is not only named after an iconic American revolutionist, but it's also bottled by Teamsters along with my new favorite, Twisted Teas, and bottled with Angry Orchid beverages. So Teamsters makes sure that Sam Adams beer is taken care of, and my new favorite, which is Twisted Tea. Everybody that knows it's been something new, that it's been something I can actually drink and not bother me, and Twisted Teas by Teamsters, CTTT. Teamsters and Twisted Tea, making sure that we're getting our spirits taken care of. The last job I want to point out is Jell-O and Cool Whip. Those obviously are two great things that go together, but they're also manufactured and distributed by Teamsters. So the next time you have some Jell-O and the next time you have some Cool Whip, whether together or independently, thank a Teamster and make sure that the Teamsters, you realize that Teamsters made it happen. It's Worker Power Hour at KCAA 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Next part of the show is news. We actually have a lot of union news going on. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about one subject in particular because it always gives great consternation to people sometimes. The new California $20 fast food worker minimum wage. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's terrible. Now my my burger is going to be more expensive, and my this is going to be more expensive, and my that's going to be more expensive." All I got to say is go to In-N-Out. In-N-Out actually pays more than $20 an hour, and their burgers are cheaper than everybody else, and they make a ton of money. So when I hear everybody complain that the minimum wage for fast food workers is actually causing the cost of food to go up, it's actually not true. And specifically, if you were to go to Alabama and get a burger at Carl's Jr., which is almost the exact same price as it is in California, minimum wage there is like $7.25 an hour. And what it is corporate America is just pulling in more cash. And this gouge that you have going on with inflation right now is actually corporate America gouging everybody, not the fact that some people working in the fast food restaurant make a few more bucks. And I always love this kind of debate and argument because the reality is if there were enough really good paying jobs in America, then this wouldn't be a debate. But it's become a debate because some people want to continue to compress wages and prevent workers. When you have people that are doing 2 and 3 jobs and they're doing the best they can to get by, and one of those jobs happens to be fast food, it's probably good that it's a decent paying job. And let's just use the comparison of In-N-Out. In-N-Out has always paid higher than everybody else in the industry. Have always had the best product. And clearly they're expanding, and I think they got more than 400 stores now. And whenever you ever hear individuals say, "Oh, you can't compete if the prices are raised," well, if the labor price is so impactful that it causes the cost of the product to go up because you have all of these other things that you're spending money on, like CEO pay being at $100 trillion a year. I know I'm exaggerating, but for you to get on a spaceship and fly to Mars or the moon or wherever. And the reality is the way these corporations are set up, the amount of money that's being pulled out of the system. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this in more detail on the back side of the hour. But the amount of money that's being pulled out of the system is what's causing those costs to go up. And the reality is this: if you don't like that a Carl's Jr. burger is $15 or whatever it is, then don't buy it. Period. Don't buy it. If you go to Del Taco or wherever else you're going to go and you don't like that then don't buy it. That is clearly, fast food is not something we need. It's not something that we need to have. And I was actually standing in line at a Jersey Mike's the other day, and I had heard somebody having this bickering, and I had to jump in. My son was with me, and I couldn't help myself. I had to jump in and say that's not true. The cost, the minimum wage going up for fast food workers is not what rose the cost of that grinder. What rose the cost of that grinder is everybody keeps buying them. Even though they raised the price of it, no one stopped buying them. They complained the entire time. And so the reality is supply and demand is part of it. If costs do go up, there is some impact to it, but it is not a direct relation. It's not a direct connection. especially if you have multiple layers that money is being pulled out of the system. And so congratulations to all those fast food workers. Hopefully more of them can buy products and services that are Teamster Advantage partners now that they're making a few more bucks, because it was unions that actually helped get this put together. And what was established was a fast food council. So not only was there a union behind this that created its own organization, on top of it, an organization was established as a fast food council for leaders in the industry to come together and to deal with the challenges that are happening in this industry on a large scale. And so the reason I want to spend a little bit of time on this is because unions typically get villainized in this space, and quite frankly, low-wage workers get villainized in this space, and there's plenty of room for people to make a decent wage and actually not have to charge a lot of money unless the gazillionaire still wants to make, $100 million a year and be exploiting everybody else in the system. And so congratulations to that. That started on April 1st. That comes in conjunction with something that was supported called SB 525. SB 525 is a healthcare bill, similarly, that there's a rollout starting in June of 2024 here, that those that work in the healthcare industry have to be paid a minimum wage. And quite frankly, the reason why these things are happening is because it's not like there's a lack of resources in healthcare. Again, corporations are gutting the system and they want to depress wages. And so you have a bill that's been propped up, went through the system, approved, and now workers in the healthcare industry will be earning minimums. Some of them are $21, $23, and $25 an hour, depending on some variables in the criteria, but SB 525. And that bill was actually sponsored by Senator DeRaza, and she is a former union leader. And this is where a lot of unions went to her and said, hey, look, this is an industry that's lagging behind in wages, and clearly the interested players in that industry are not doing a good job of providing good wages. So, we're going to have to force them to with some policy or a regulatory factor. And clearly that's gone into play, and congratulations to a lot of those workers. We want to make sure that, especially in a field like healthcare, and Rick, just so you know, I know I'm going to be a little late on my break, so I'm going to let it drag a little bit. All right. Okay. So, congratulations to those workers. Unions worked really hard to make sure that got passed, just like every other law in America that benefits working people. The next thing I want to point out is there's a labor dispute with Molson Coors coming out of Texas, out of Local 997 in Texas. So the contract negotiations there have stalled. Right now, the union has asked for a national boycott, and so hopefully they can all get to the table and get that resolved. Mercedes workers in Alabama have filed for a union vote this week, impacting more than 6,000 workers at that facility. It looks like a majority are supportive of those organizing efforts, and that's an ongoing support of the UAW president, Shawn Fain, who has really pressed the need to organize in the non-union sector of the auto industry, and good work. Obviously, almost 100% of the Germany part of Mercedes is organized already. The irony is they come to America and think that they need to be non-union. Again, it's about exploitation of workers. And so the last issue on the news I want to report on is Washington State adds some worker protection laws, actually a lot of them. They've banned mandatory anti-union meetings. They're actually the fourth state to do this, and that is requiring workers to go into a meeting, what we call captive audience meetings. It's been banned now. It was their right, and in these four states that have passed legislation to say you cannot force workers into a meeting where they have to listen to anti-union rhetoric. And so congratulations to the workers there and Governor Jay Inslee. He's actually he's a really good guy. He's actually very pro-labor, obviously, by signing this. And they also passed, they broadened sick leave in the state of Washington, as well as an expansion of pay equity investigations and how those equity investigations are handled throughout the state. And so congratulations to all that supported that. I actually know a lot of people that worked on the ground to help get a lot of this legislation. Locals 117 and 174 and Joint Council 28 up there all did a lot of work. I remember I heard about it on lots of calls over the last few months, and so it's good to see all this stuff as materialized in something permanent. And so with that, we'll transition over to our favorite part of the show. Don't forget, call in toll free, 888-909-1050. Our call-in lines are, once again, 888-909-1050. So I'm joined with our Teamster Advantage partner today. We have Justin here. His business is actually pretty close to me. I live in Yucaipa, on the upper part of Yucaipa, almost in Oakland. And Justin has a small business in Oakland, and brand new Teamster Advantage partner, and been in business for 31 years. They sell Loungefly stuff, Harry Potter, Disney backpacks, and some vintage stuff. I won't sit here and steal all his thunder, but we really appreciate the relationship. We've got more than 1,000 small businesses connected to our network, and we do a lot of free advertising for them. We don't charge you anything for it, and it's good to actually have someone of the network brand new, because it's only been a couple weeks, right, Mark? And so normally we've got someone on here that's been for a few years, and we've got all kinds of stories, and so it's nice to mix this up and have someone new. So Justin, why don't you tell us about your business that's partnered with the Teamsters?
Well, our business, Doris Lane, started back in May of 1993. We actually started out as a clothing company, which I designed the clothing line along with my grandmother. 10 years ago, we switched over to Disney, Harry Potter, Star Wars, all of the licensed mini backpacks. You'll find a lot of limited edition exclusive items in our store that you won't find anywhere else, along with vintage pieces. And right now we have a small selection of vintage in stock right now.
So this is like really hot stuff. Like this is, I hear of people buying these things and hunting them down, and
yeah, they can be. It can get kind of crazy. We just
do you get into bidding wars in your store?
No,
not yet.
No, my CPA would skin me alive.
Oh, okay.
So no, we operate on a standard markup, and
we need to connect you to a different CPA. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll let my mom know that you said that.
Okay, all right. My bad. Hopefully she's not listening.
So, no, it's a labor of love. I always say that after my grandmother passed, it didn't feel right to continue the clothing without her. Mm-hmm. So I combined all of my nerdoms, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Disney, and we went from there. But we strive to make sure we have nothing that you can find at the park or any of the Disney stores.
So even though I grew up in the era on Star Wars, I never saw any of the Star Wars movies. So
okay,
yeah, I know it sounds crazy.
We're going to cancel this interview right now.
I know it sounds crazy. I had a very crazy growing up, so everything I've had to see has been after the fact, mm-hmm. and for whatever reason, so I can't walk you through the Star Wars stuff. So tell me some cool stuff about Star Wars.
Where
that you have in your store. That you have in your store.
Well, right now we actually have a vintage piece from that was released about 25 years ago at the Disney parks. It's limited to 1,977 pieces worldwide. There's only been 2 that I know of that's actually hit the aftermarket, and we have one of them in the store.
And what is it?
It's actually Donald Duck dressed as Boba Fett, and when you open the base, there's actually a matching pin, which pins can get extremely crazy. I won't really go too much further into the pin.
So 1977, I assume that correlates to the year it was released?
Yes.
Yeah. See, logic, I can figure this out.
Yeah. So that's one of the coolest pieces we have in the store. It gets a lot of attention.
Highest bidder? I'm just kidding.
I would be fine with that one.
Okay.
So the thing is that when you purchase Disney collectibles, save your box, please.
That's always what I hear.
Save your box.
On all these shows that you see on History Channel, the box being complete and in great condition has a lot to do with the value.
Yes, because if the individual that we acquired the Boba Fett from had kept his box, it would be worth between $10,000 and $12,000 on the aftermarket. Because they didn't keep the box, it's only worth about $2,000.
Oh boy, little piece of cardboard.
Yeah,
that's $10,000 for a piece of cardboard.
Yes, it's always keep the boxes. So especially with collectibles of that magnitude, you want to keep the box. But we also carry the Funko Pops and everything else. So some keep the boxes, and I'm a firm believer if it's a child, let them open it and play with it. So
gotcha. Okay, so Harry Potter, I can relate to the Harry Potter. All my kids, not all of them, most of them grew up in the space where Harry Potter was alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
And so what kind of stuff do you have Harry Potter-ish?
Right now we have a really cool limited edition exclusive Loungefly of Diagon Alley. That one is actually sold out worldwide, so you'll only find that bag in a store that still actually has it in stock. And then I'm trying to think what else I have.
I'm assuming you have some of them wands, right?
Yes and no. I'm currently out of wands, but we are.
But you actively carry them
yes.
when you can find them.
When we carry them. So
what's the most expensive a wand has gone for, typically collectible, that you know of in your store?
In my store, the most expensive one we've had was around $150.
Oh, wow.
But there are some custom wands that...
Because those were like $6-7. I remember when I was buying them for the kids when they first came out.
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on if they're made of plastic, made of wood. The most expensive one that we actually sold was actually a replica of Bellatrix Lestrange. So...
Oh, all right. Wow. All right, Disney. What do you have on the Disney horizon?
At Disney, we have everything from magnets, keychains, Hot Wheels.
And you don't have to go to Disneyland and pay the entry fee. You can just drive to your place.
You can just come to my store in Oak Glen, yes.
Isn't Oak Glen a great town?
I love Oak Glen. I've always thrived in a smaller community. I'm born and raised here in Southern California. Lived in Arkansas for about 5 years in a town of 1,200. Didn't want to come back, but we did. And so I just like the fact that I'm not worried about somebody breaking into my car in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's very true with Oak Glen. My favorite place to go to up there is the Oak Glen Steakhouse. The food there is excellent.
Yeah.
When it's not washed out from a
when it's not washed
from
out.
a storm.
Yeah,
Right?
we
It's right next to that storm drain that blows right through the restaurant every now and then.
I
Once
love
a year.
that there. So yeah, we actually spent my birthday dinner there this year. So
on the patio or inside?
Inside. My birthday's February, so it's really
cold. It's cold. Yeah, it's freezing. There's been many times that we've gone there, and when we come out, it's snowing.
Yeah,
Many
I was last weekend. We had quite a bit of snow come down, which was interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Oak Glen is great. You know, most kids know it because that's where the apple orchards are, and a lot of field trips you'll see going up to Oak Glen. There's also a place called Serendipity up there. A lot of people get married up there, and there's a few other locations. It's a great spot because it's just beautiful. It's a lot of scenery up there, and ironically, we're really so close to the big city, but it seems so far. It's super quiet up there.
Yeah, I love it. So,
well, anything else as we wrap this part of the hour up? We're going to break here in about 2 minutes, just so you know, Rick. Anything you want to close on? Great story, something cool you've had, some collectible or something like that?
One of my favorite collectibles that we acquired was actually Elliot from Pete's Dragon, part of the original Walt Disney World Classic Collections.
You didn't hold on to that? You sold it?
No, that's mine.
That's okay. You
yeah,
did
so
hold on
yeah,
to it.
I did
Okay.
hold on to that. I just, when I saw it, I was like, nope, have to have it. It's number 1 of 750.
So tell everybody where in Oak Glen you are. I know you can drive up one end, drive right through Oak Glen, and drive out. So about which there's like, I think there's 6 different little strip malls there on Oak Glen Road.
Yeah, we are actually located in Oak Tree Mountain, which is on the same property as Apollani's. We have the little gray rustic building in the corner next to the Honey store.
Apple Annie's will help everybody recognize where you got to go.
Yes, Apple Annie's will help everybody because everybody knows
it's
Apple Annie's.
Yeah, it's a big landmark for everybody. All right, well, thank you very much, Justin, for coming on the show. Is there anything else you wanna close with?
Nope. Just remember, Teamsters get 20% off every time they come into the store.
And how much? We don't charge you anything for advertising, right?
No.
Isn't this a great relationship with small business?
Yeah, it helps a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, that's what we just believe there's so much space here where working people, small business, all, we really have a collective interest with one another, and the more we can just help each other and occupy this space, I think it can just be mutually beneficial. So
yeah,
thanks for joining us.
Randy, you want to watch Justin squirm? I'm going to get him good. I have a 1977 in the packet lightsaber from Kmart.
Oh, boy.
I have my call sheet from when I was in Star Trek: The Motion Picture in the record.
Are you wanting to sell them?
No, but I thought I wanted to see you squirm. And then, now this one is the best one, and you're going to love this. I got a friend named Chris Hunter. That is Jeffrey Hunter's dad, or son, and he was married to Barbara Rush, who was in When Worlds Collide. Jeffrey Hunter, of course, was the first one in Star Trek. The first Star Trek pilot, Captain Pike?
Yes.
Chris has the original script that says "Wagon Train on the Stars" to it.
Oh.
Yeah, I told you.
He's squirming.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to take that on consignment.
I don't think he's going to sell it yet, but his mom just passed away. Barbara Rush just passed away on Sunday. And so she was in Worlds Collide. She won a Golden Globe for that and everything. And so he's got the Golden Globes. He's got all that stuff. But I thought I'd get a kick out of that because I'm a big Star Wars fan. And so, live long and prosper, nanu, nanu. But yeah, I'm not selling anything. It all goes to my niece and everything. But yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that.
Yeah, if you change your mind, you'll know where to find me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thanks for adding, Rick. And let's play the music for us to transition to a break. See you on the other side of the hour.
Located in the heart of San Bernardino, California, the Teamsters Local 1932 Training Center is designed to train workers for high-demand, good-paying jobs in various industries throughout the Inland Empire. If you want a pathway to a high-paying job and the respect that comes with a union contract, visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
Labor unions built the middle class, and the middle class built America. That's the message from Teamsters Local 1932, a strong and successful labor union based in San Bernardino that represents over 14,000 hardworking people across the Inland Empire. The Teamsters are ready to help you organize for better pay, increased benefits, and improved working conditions. Reach out to Teamsters 1932 at teamsters1932.org/organize to speak with an organizer today.
Are you looking for a good union job? The Inland Empire's 14,000 members strong Teamsters Local 1932 has opened a training center to get working people trained and placed in open positions in public service clerical work and in jobs in the logistics industry. This is a new opportunity to advance your career and raise standards across the region. Visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
Randy Corgan here on the back side of the hour. Worker Power Hour, KCAA 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. I always get reminded on how much I missed out on in the 70s and 80s by not seeing Star Wars and a whole bunch of movies. I really didn't see the movies of the 80s, with the exception of Ghostbusters, until somewhere in the 90s or 2000s. And I'm still not caught up with a lot of them. there's a Christmas Story, I think, is one of them. There's actually that was 50s or 60s, but there's a ton of them that I miss a lot of these comments, and I don't get some of the one-liners and stuff. But at some point, I will definitely catch up, and it's like when I first watched Godfather. I'd always heard going to the mattresses, and never understood what it meant, and then all of a sudden 50 conversations came back into me when I watched the movie for the first time. I think that was in like 2004 or 2005. Since then, I've watched them all, but the reality is some of us, depending on our life's trajectory, we miss certain things, and we got to go back and catch up on it. Man, that was great with Justin. He's got a lot of cool stuff in his store, and looking forward to that partnership. It's good to actually have a new Teamster Advantage partner versus somebody that had been around for a while. We're doing a good job. Thanks, Mark and Ralph, for us, mixing up who we have on the show. A lot of our members really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I think James, I haven't opened up my text yet, but James just sent me, apparently he's listening live. He's promoting it live as we speak. So thanks, brother. He's promoting the store. All right, thanks. See, James is on it, man. We have the store on the show, and it's immediately being blasted into James Estrada's social media world. We really appreciate that. All right, so the backside of this show, I really want to spend a few minutes to talk about corporate America's assault on unions. I'm going to close out the show by taking us through some of those points. Sorry, I had to take a quick drink of water here. Think about that for a minute. Corporate America's assault on unions over the last 40 years. Typically only in America that it's happened. It's actually happened in South America and a little bit in Africa, certain parts of other continents, not so much in Europe, in other areas of the world. Australia didn't happen there. And a lot of it has to do with the regulatory factors that I'll get into here in a minute. But the reality is unions have been villainized in America, just quite frankly, for financial gain for corporations. And they succeeded in villainizing what we call defined benefit pensions, retirement plans. They have villainized retiree medical and a retiree medical component. They have villainized workers in a lot of ways, getting workers to fight among one another, villainize minimum wages or minimums, policies, regulatory factors. And it's always funny, every now and then I'll get some union members fall into the trap because of maybe who they're listening to on the radio. I was actually having a really good conversation with Rick Smith, who has his own show the other day. And, it's kind of our fault. It's labor's fault because we haven't done this right here, which is put someone like me on a show where we talk about unions and we give people the ability while they're driving around to listen. And for a few decades, you turned on the radio and it was just full of anti-union rhetoric, and, corporate America really controlling the airwaves and villainizing over and over again and just passing the message over and over again where unions just, it became synonymous with it supposedly being bad. And, they it's not like they say anything good about us. When does corporate America ever said anything good talking about how we brought, the 8-hour workday or minimum wages or overtime pay, different forms of overtime pay, eliminated child labor? Instead, we get villainized as supposedly we're the mob and, we're gangsters and criminals. I think there's a lot more criminals that are running corporations, as we can clearly see, than there's ever been running unions. And maybe we splash the headlines on a crazy scenario or two, but the reality is corporations have been full of criminals, white-collar criminal, and just straight-up legally killing people, whether it's through the water, environmental issues, and a number of other things we can lay out. Pensions and healthcare. Let's use them as an example of why corporate America has villainized us and this assault is for over 100 years, unions have tried to create protections and memorialize those protections into law, policy, or regulatory factors. Corporate America has always pushed back on all of that. And as a result of that, they'll spend millions of dollars on trying to control the airwaves, millions of dollars on this rhetoric pounding over and over again. And you might ask, well, why? Why would they spend that? Well, think about it now. If you look 3 decades, 4 decades later, after healthcare is no longer affordable, 30, 40 years ago, healthcare was something that was just a staple. Everybody, if you worked, your employer provided it. You didn't pay for anything out of your pocket. And employers were prideful in saying, if you came to work for me, this is what you got, and you can work your entire career and ultimately retire here, and this is what your retirement vehicle will look like. Instead, what they've done is villainize these things because they have a cost factor to them. And yeah, pensions do cost money, and they cost a lot more money than 401ks do, because 401ks are, for the most part, completely paid for by the employee. Gee, I wonder why a corporation said, no, I don't want to pay for it. I want someone else to pay for it. And if you look at the redistribution of money and wealth, you can see at the same time as pensions disappeared, as healthcare became more expensive for workers, and not only did it become more expensive and capitalized on that side where it's being manipulated by the corporations in that industry, it also became more expensive for the individuals that were utilizing it, because the employers themselves, as employers, were then shifting the cost on to workers and then making them pay for it. Then workers were choosing, well, I want the less expensive health plan, which means that not as much is covered. And so when you run into a problem, guess what happens? You end up having to pay that bill out of your pocket. And so all that money is now coming out of a worker's pocket, and it goes shifted into the CEO's pocket or the super wealthy's pocket. And this villainization has just been nothing more than a ruse. It's just been this scam to make us look bad, make unions, working people look bad, make it, take an example or two, a handful of them, and use a bad example and then generalize it across millions of people and say, see, there's a problem with that. And I think that one of the things that we got sold on as a society was that we should be in control of our own finances. I get to hear this all the time. That we should be in control of our health care. We should be in control of our retirement vehicle. That individually, everybody as an individual should be in control of that. Well, that grand experiment the last 4 decades has clearly failed. Clearly failed. Because if you look back 40 years and the percentage of workers that were in defined benefit plans, if you look at the percentage of workers that had health care that were managed for them because they were in unions and or they were in plans that were 100% paid for, and you recognize that workers were depending upon typically a union to negotiate those things, to manage those things, or a trust fund, which is a collective group of people all working in concert for, let's say, healthcare benefits or retirement benefits, and which you call creating a trust fund, a fund that managed healthcare and or retirement benefits, or both, or retiree medical benefits. And that villainization created this sort of narrative of you should be in control of it. That let's say $500 a month. If you had the $500 yourself, what would you do with it? Well, we found that more than 90% of workers spent the money, and they didn't manage it correctly. I'm not trying to take a shot at everybody, but this is more than 40 years of statistics that shows, because I saw a statistic just the other day that even though over 80% of workers depend on a 401k as their retirement vehicle, that the average amount in that retirement vehicle is right around $60-some thousand. That's not even a year's salary for most people. And so that's not enough money to carry them through their entire retirement. And so we're going to run into this retirement crisis if we're not already there. And again, that has come because of a villainization of unions and saying, you can do this on your own. You're correct. The example I actually gave somebody today in this conversation is whole life insurance. And that what happens is the person that's purchasing insurance will look at whole life and they'll see there's a savings portion to it on top of an insurance policy. And that the two combined will then, if I don't die, I get some money back. And I get it, but most people choose the whole life because they don't want to deal with the investment side of investing the difference. And that people don't have a lot of time, for whatever reason, they don't have a lot of time to actually look at where those investment vehicles are and make sure that the money is, that you're disciplined enough to put that amount of money in there and that you don't draw the money out. And so what happens is people are naturally attracted to a system that someone else can take care of it for them, so that they don't have to try to figure out all the criteria and the ins and outs and the ups and downs of, let's say, the investment world. So let's use the difference between whole life and buying term and investing the difference. Yes, it's more profitable to buy term and invest the difference, but the risk to it is, are you going to pay attention to the other side of the investment? Are you going to make sure that happens? And what we see statistically is that most people don't have a palate for that. Even though it's a better way to do things, they don't have a palate for it. It's now exponentially greater when you get into healthcare benefits and you get into retirement vehicles in its totality, like a defined benefit. And that only a small percentage of workers are going to have the time and or want to have the time or have the capacity, because some people are just not good at this and you can't blame them for it. They'd rather be in a plan with everybody else knowing that it's going to benefit, and maybe they don't have as good of a return on their dollar, but they know they're going to have some sort of return. That means you'd have to be dependent on another system. And so the reason why I've laid all this out is that we were convinced that we should all individually take care of it ourselves. And that didn't work. It's just not working. It worked for a handful of people, and it's obviously worked for the super wealthy because, oh, that's right, they didn't do it either because they have investment consultants, and they're wealthy, so they have all these experts that they pay. Well, you don't have that same thing if you're the average person that's just making middle class wages and you're trying to kind of get along you're going along to get along. And the reality is by us falling into the trap of that individualism and to that just I should be able to manage the money myself, we can see that more than 80% of workers spent the money. They had to use it for something else. That unless you're forced to put that money in a certain space, that typically is just not going to work that way, even though it's smarter to do something different. Instead, maybe they buy a slightly bigger home or they buy a fancier car that they don't technically, do you really need it? The argument is need and want. Sometimes want overweighs it and you end up overspending a little bit. And when you have this element of individualism where corporate America has pounded this message that you should have control of it, we can see that the average person doesn't want control of it, that they just don't. That they want to, more than 80% of workers want someone else to help them with this. More than 80% of workers want to be in unions and they want to be part of these retirement plans or retirement healthcare, retiree healthcare plans. Or, of course, everybody who's working would love for their healthcare to be 100% paid for by their employer. How is it that we've shifted away? And again, it's that villainization corporate America has done and the assault on unions. Too many workers have been negatively impacted by this. Let's just use affordable health care as an example. Somebody chooses their health care plan. They take the least affordable health care plan, and that plan is going to cost them, let's say, $300 a month versus $600 a month. And they take the lower one, but it has caps. You get into a catastrophic issue, and that catastrophic situation then rolls up into a huge medical bill that then takes all the money out of your 401k. or you can ultimately not pay it and it affects your credit. So literally tens of millions of Americans have been impacted by that simply because they've been asked to take care of it on their own versus depending on some systems that we collectively put our money together and we look out for one another. Some people call that socialism. We call that collective bargaining. It's actually what we call that. And it's been going on for a very long time. And it's actually what creates a positive environment for workers when they get to retirement. Hey, Rick, how much time do I got?
90 seconds.
I got 90 seconds. All right, I appreciate that. It's the Worker Power Hour with Randy Corgan, KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. And so just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about corporate America and its assault on unions. I've actually got this long list of stuff laid out that we're going to be covering over the next few months, making sure that we explain to workers what worker power is and what can you do to build worker power. First of all, this is Randy Corgan, longtime organizer, first-time radio host. What you can do to build worker power is talk with your family, talk with your friends, talk to your neighbors, come together and build worker power. Randy Corgan, signing off.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Severe weather continues to travel across the country as it threatens the East Coast today. NOAA's Storm Prediction Center says a stretch from southern New Jersey to northern North Carolina and another from southern South Carolina to central Florida have the greatest risk of severe storms. The fate of a controversial Texas immigration law is now in the hands of a federal appeals court in New Orleans. The three-judge panel for the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals offered the federal government and the legal team representing Texas the chance Wednesday to oppose or defend Texas SB 4. Lawyers for the government and interested parties opposing the law say Texas does not have the authority to craft or enforce immigration law. The Biden administration has no plans to change its policy toward Israel after 7 humanitarian aid workers were killed in an Israeli airstrike. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters, however, the president expects a swift and thorough investigation into the incident.
You heard from the president last night in his statement. He's outraged and he's heartbroken. We are all heartbroken here.
Biden, in a statement Tuesday,